Ladies and gentlemen, evening to everybody. We're going to start our work as it is usual. We're going to ask everybody to put their phone set on the silent mode, and so we all depends on God. It's His will that occurs. We would wish that our activity knows a better starting, but God decided and did what He wants. The two president with their compassion with the Guinea government, they wanted us to postpone the event. It's through the insistence of the Ministry of Technical Training, who insisted that the activity, the meeting be held in acknowledgement of your efforts and the efforts of your structures, so that Guinea mark a history of AMSEPs and WAPES. So this small opening ceremony will know high, and the two chairmen are going to deliver their speeches, starting by the DG of AGUIPE, who is going to deliver his welcome speech in order to wish all of you a nice welcome to Guinea land. And also we will have the ASEP chairman speech, and then the chairman of AMSEPS, who is at the same time also presenter to this conference, will deliver his speech, and then we will give the floor to Mr. Cherry Host on behalf of the Executive Secretariat. We will present the big lines and objectives and outcomes that are expected from this conference, and then this presentation of Cherry will be followed with a small video that we will share together, and after that video we agreed to give a space to the chairman of AMSEPS, who is the president of ANAPEC of Morocco. Is going to do his presentation because he will be traveling back to Casablanca this evening. So, Mr. Chairman, this is the program of this mini official ceremony opening. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if you allow me, we're going to give the floor to the Managing Director of AGUIPE, Mr. Mohamed ARIBOT. Good morning, everybody. Before starting my speech, I would like to kindly ask you I would like us to stand up for 1 minute for the honor of the victims during this incident that occurred. Thanks everybody for observing 1 minute of silence for this unfortunate event. Mr. Chairman, with your permission. Ladies and gentlemen, representing of ministers in charge of employment of AMSEP countries, Mr. Secretary General, members of ministerial cabinets, president of the Public Services Association, chairman of the African Public Services of Employment, members of the ASEP Executive Committee, managing directors of public services, Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, at your ranks and all protocol observed, it's for us an honor to receive you in the African land of Guinea at the occasion of this interregional conference on the development and the promotion of green jobs. This conference will define the big orientations, strategies to be implemented for the public services, ASEP, for the promotion and development of green jobs. So allow me to renew our wish of a nice welcome to everybody and a nice stay to our country. Allow me also to express ourselves for the acknowledgement, for the honor to host the first General Assembly of the African Association of Public Services held yesterday, and this interregional conference of AMSEP. Ladies and gentlemen, the problematic of green jobs that gathers us today is a challenge for public services of employment. If it is known that the potential for the creation of green jobs exists in all the countries, no matter the economic development level of the countries, it is that's why the development of green jobs could seems important for the public services of employment. This justify the choosing of this topic. This is an opportunity for public services. And also this interregional conference will allow us, among others, to share our experiences on the topics related to green jobs, to share the main tools, methodology, and approaches for the green jobs, and to help public services to make the green jobs to reduce to create jobs, and also the process for the development and promotion of green jobs for the public services. During these 3 days, we will succeed to sensitize and mobilize actors in favor of green jobs to put in place a mechanism of cooperation and exchange for good practices between public services to promote sustainable development, and a mechanism for the follow-up of green jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our colleagues and partners, I would like to reassure you regarding the measures, useful measures for the success of this meeting that are taken. I would like to congratulate for the African Association of for holding and the success of this conference in Conakry. I really thank you. It's for me the opportunity to applaud the support of the transition. Colonel Mamadi Doumbia, head of state, head of the army and his government, led by Dr. Bena Gomi, and the Ministry of the Technical Training, Mr. Alpha Bakar Bari, for the support for the organization of this conference. Already we are optimistic regarding the success of Conakry conference. I'm not going to end my speech without renewing to all of you, dear participants, our sincere thanks for the interest that you have attached to our invitation. Once again, welcome to the Republic of Guinea. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you, Mr. Managing Director of Video Farm. Our thanks because we are very delighted to be in this beautiful country, Guinea. And I know that some of us would like to stay for a long time, but the mission papers are limited and we are compelled to go back. So, Mr. Chairman of ASEPS, please deliver your speech. Thank you, the Master of Ceremony, and at the same time, the coordinator of ASEPS of Mali, Mr. Chairman of the Public Services, and for Mr. Director of AGUIPE, consultants, and for the AMSEPS Executive Committee, Mr. Cherry, Managing Directors of Public Services of Gabon, Niger, Togo, and the representative of Cameroon, Chad, and the DRC, DRC Congo, Congo Brazza, and the Côte d'Ivoire, and Benin, Burkina Faso. Mr. Managing Director of Burkina Faso is also here. So everybody, all protocol observed. It is an honor and a privilege for me as a Vice President of the World Association of Public Services and the President of the Public Services to have this floor in front of you. I associate to the compassion for the minute of silence pronounced by the AGUIPE Chairman, DG, to say once again on the on behalf of the public services all our compassion to the Republic of Guinea regarding this unfortunate event. I would like on behalf of the public services thank the President of the Association, World Association of Public Services, to have accepted these activities to be held in the Republic of Guinea around the interregional conference for the development, the green development and the creation of green jobs. Allow me, Mr. Director of AGUIPE, to forward to your minister and the greetings of the Managing Director of Public Services of Mali and the African Association and all the ministers that represent the public services would like to be to honor their presence to this rendezvous of Conakry. Unfortunately, they have very tight agendas. In order to remind you, ASEPS is a sub-regional organization founded in 1998 in Ouagadougou, and the group of administrations in charge of public services of employment in the African continent in its sub-Saharan region. ASEPS is a member of AMSEPS for the African region. After Europe, it's the region that comes with the biggest number of members after Europe. It is highlighted that Guinea was the first among the first countries to adhere to AMSEPS, and the managing director of public services of Guinea of that time was the first vice president of the African region. I am going to ask you to join your hands for this historical reminder. So this shows the weight, the weight of Guinea at the AMSEPS and WAPES. So we feel today as a pilgrimage in the Natal, one of the founding fathers of the African Association of Public Services Association. So as a result, so let's be like the founders, the predecessors. I would like to remind here, I would like to ask you to send your greetings to Camille Mouté Abidjasa, the Honorary President and the Managing Director of Public Services of Cameroon, who could not join us, who is also a founder, a Pan-Africanist, and the founder of ASEPS and AMSEPS. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, allow me also to seize the opportunity that is offered to me to thank on behalf of ASEPS, the President of Transition, Head of State of Guinea, His Excellency Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, the government of Guinea and people of Guinea to have accepted to host this activity in this beautiful capital of Conakry. My thanks towards the President of AMSEPS and to the team of the Executive Secretariat for the efforts deployed so that this conference, interregional conference, be held in West Africa after Chad in 2018 and Cameroon in 2019.
En effet,
when the Executive Secretariat of AMSEP sought that Guinea through AGUIPE to host these events, the response was immediate, and we needed to join our hands because they did a great job to organize this conference. As you know, and through the topic of this conference, we are held in our meeting after the G28 that closed on Tuesday, 12 December for the climate change. The conclusion of that COP28 satisfied today all the actors who are fighting against the climate change, and particularly those for the job markets. Our conference gathers also countries that are signing for the United Nations framework, and also all the climate actors would like this fight, because all humanity is threatened. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, the energy transition, the solidarity between North and the Southern countries will have a space in the debates and the exchanges between delegates who are conscious of the regeneration and protection of ecosystems that we have to take the responsibility. This shows sufficiently how the development of green jobs is important for the public services of employment that assess the space for the employment at the ILO. I would like to remind that it's in favor of the executive committee in Morocco, held in Morocco from 9 to 10 March 2013, related to the event that we are having here, and also where was validated regarding the challenges and in the African continent. And then the Assembly General of ASEPs have been validated in Brussels. So the opportunity is offered managing directors and the colleagues of various public services. It is an opportunity for us to multiply the partnerships and to take into account employment and economic green economy and green jobs. I would like to thank AMSEPs and the ASEPs for their mobilization, because among 20 members we have 14 members present in this room. Please join your hands for yourself. Applause for yourself. Thank you. Allow me also to seize the opportunity to once again thank the Guinean authorities for the welcome, and thanks personally Mr. the Minister of the Technical Training and Professional Training Employment of Bakal Bari, and even this morning when this incident occurred, he came since 9 a.m. in order to get information from the participants, and acknowledge the efforts of my colleague, my counterpart, Mr. Mohamed ARIBOT, and all his collaborators. Please join your hands for them.
La conférence qui nous réunit
on this 18th December is a collaboration between Guinea government and us, symbolize the solidarity and the sharing and the cooperation between these geographical countries that play a role for the development and of the green jobs, shows the sensitive problematic that is in education, and we for the challenges that we are facing in order to provide appropriate responses to the underemployment. This will allow a better preservation of the environment. As such, what sector could be more holder of the jobs for youth and the IT and the sustainable development regarding the emergency of climate change and the choice of the topic of the conference in the strategy around access, like on the exchange of good practices, the sharing of experience in order to transfer competencies, ensure a multi-partnership, and finally have a reflection at all levels for the sustainable development as the stimulus for the global growth. Dear participants, honorable guests, the current world is bearing a burden in order to remind 200 million people, jobless people in the sub-Sahara region. We have the rate in terms of vulnerability, the vulnerable rate is 66%, and more than the half of these lead the African countries to have to develop decent jobs and reduce poverty. According to UNDP, the scientific assessment led have proved that the energy transition creates jobs for the providing, the recycling and the revalorization of non-biodegradable agriculture, the building and transport, and decarbonation and the abandon of fossil energy. The participation of real competencies to our conferences like the AMSEP, and that will have its communication or a communication that are planned will be led to the proposals in order to draw the potential and the concept of sustainable development in order to improve the life conditions of communities. At the world level, as you know, the emission of greenhouse gas is increasing, and the temperature of the planet has increased to 1 degree compared to 150 years ago. And the signing of the climate change is present in all over the world, particularly in Africa, which is the most acute. And the communities in West African, in African countries suffers regarding to the climate degradation. The scientific of climate says that in order to fight against this climate change, and can be contained at 2 degrees. So it is irreversible, this fight regarding the climate change. This means that AMSEP and its members have a role on the problematic for the green jobs through ecological entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to remind you that the action plan of COP24, like the COP28, take into consideration actions going in the sense for the improvement of information to support workers and support to the various workers, to communities in transition, the creation of for the policies for the improvement of climate policies of the various countries, the integration for the just fair transition and decent jobs and also climate adequate climate policies, and finally the encouragement and motivation of entities in charge of climate funding with a mandate so that they participate in projects that create jobs which is related to carbon neutrality. These are indicators that are in line with our expected results. I would like to call upon the public services for the green wall of Africa, NEPAD, so that our public services develop strategies to undertake actions related to their full participation to this project, which provide green jobs from Dakar to Djibouti. We, PS of the world, most must play our role in order to have our environmental, in order to do it, we have to ensure the development of green jobs and conduct a fight for the promotion of a green economy that will lead to global emergence development and to have a fair transition. Mr. Director of AMCEPS, ladies and gentlemen, before closing my speech, I would like to thank all the structures, particularly the technical and financial partners, AGUIPE, AMCEPS, and all the participants for holding the General Assembly yesterday and the press point that preceded it. I would like once again to ask you to be involved so that the resolution of this conference be declined into action plans that ASEPS could take into consideration regarding its action plan. Once again, I thank you and I wish to all the participants a good conference. And to be short, I would like to remind you the results of our General Assembly yesterday, and I congratulate you. Thank you all.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président de
l'ASEPS,
pour ce condensé
summary
contexte dans
of the
lequel
context
cette conférence
in which
se
this
tient
conference is being held,
et les rappels
the historic reminders that serves as a bridge between the past and the future. For the promotion and development of green jobs, particularly in our public structures of employment. Mr. Chairman of ANSEPS, before giving you the floor, I would like to inform that one of the particularities of this Conakry conference, we use at AMCEPS to meet between public services of employment. We have agreed at many occasions that maybe one of the things that we have to improve at AMCEPS, it was the involvement of the politics. And to Mr. Chairman, I draw your attention on an event that merits to be applauded. The Minister of Burkina Faso of Youth and Employment and Sport mandated two of his close collaborators to be witnesses in this conference. I name Mr. Traoré Leo Adama, Secretary General of the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Employment of Burkina Faso. Mr. Traoré, stand up, please. And this was not sufficient. The minister also sent with the Secretary General one of his technical advisor, who is at the same time president of the board of directors of INP of Burkina Faso, Mr. Sano Adelfa. I would like to call him Adelfa. Sano, we put it aside. Mr. Adelfa, please stand up. And Mr. Chairman, since we started the preparation of this conference, we have benefited the support of someone, of a man, generous in the efforts, available anytime, and present to all the steps for the organization of the preparation or up to the holding this conference. Mr. Kaba Soare, who is the Nationale Director, the Deputy Managing Director of AGUIPE of Guinea.
Mr. Kaba,
thank you.
Et Mr.
Chairman,
il faut le dire, c'est la diversité qui fait la richesse de cette
diversity that those are the riches of this conference. Despite all that we know, the quality of the participants will lead this conference to be to concrete actions.
Le gouvernement
having understood it, the government of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, through the Ministry of Finance and Budget, has sent one of his sub-director, Mr. Aikofi Abdullah, to participate to this conference. Mr. Aikofi, please stand up. Mr. Chairman, a small advocacy in order to give you the floor. You see the room. you have men. We have only 2 women in this room. This means that in terms of gender, we have also efforts to make. That's why I would like you to join your hands for the 2 beautiful ladies that are in this room. Madame Caroline Ouedraogo, representative of the BIG of Côte d'Ivoire, and Madame Djoumfoun Maria, who is Chief of Bureau of ODAP. Madame Djoumfoun Maria, please stand up so that they can see you.
Donc,
so they will be with us during these 3 days in order to give air our space here. So on this note, Mr. Chairman, I give you the floor for your speech. Thank you. Thank you, Ibrahima. Thank you. Mr. Chairman of the African Association of Public Services of Employment, Managing Director of AGUIPE, Directors of Public Services of Employment, Secretary General, and consultants, experts, trainers, directors, advisors, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, my compassion to the government and the people of the Republic of Guinea for the unfortunate event of yesterday. We hope that the dead people will rest in peace and the injured will heal as quick as possible. And I encourage the Guinea government for this unfortunate event. I would like to thank, first of all, the ACEPS and AGUIPE to have invited me to this conference that is very interesting. I would like to thank through the Managing Director of ABIC, the Guinea government, and particularly the Minister of Technical Training and Professional Training of the Republic of Guinea for this organization that is exemplary for the hospitality and the welcome. My program has been very interesting. So yesterday I could go through the many important things thanks to my friend Mohamed. I visited many areas, islands. I thank him for this. I would like also congratulate the organizers for the topic. This is an update topic. So the COP28 and whose work which works closed a few days ago. Retained a transition for the fossil energies. It is the first time that everybody has signed this declaration. This means simply that the process of preserving the environment and its restoration, the process of reduction of carbon has been launched. This can take a few years, it can take decades, but it's a process that has been launched, and this requires on our side to go through 2 ways. The first way is to prepare ourselves for the update to the standards, because there are many standards that will be imposed at other countries, level of other countries in Europe already for a country to export, like the African, Moroccan companies and African companies. There are some standards. So those companies that do not comply with those standards can no more export. So Moroccan companies also for the responsibility, societal and environmental responsibility, there will be some standard. There will be also, I'm going to show it, some loss of employment and also the capacity building also. In the Netherlands, for instance, one of the decisions that was made in order to reduce the carbon and the emission of COD was to compel the cow sector to reduce the number of cows in the Netherlands. There have been many protests regarding this decision, so things are really serious. And the second thing for which we have to prepare, to get prepared, is to seize the opportunities, because there are many opportunities, and also I can tell you that we have to look at what is happening around us in terms of various geostrategic and health crises and perturbations at the chain of supply, at the supply chain, to say that each country has to build three types of sovereignty in minimum: food sovereignty, and sovereignty, health sovereignty, and energy sovereignty. And we are inside. In terms of opportunities, I can list a certain number of opportunities. The list is not exhaustive. The bioagriculture, and we are good in Africa. It will be something that to the economy, the water economic agriculture. There are some countries where you have abundance in water, and some countries where the situation is dire, and the semi-arid countries like Morocco. And the ecotourism, there are many opportunities for ecotourism. The circular economy, we can look for the dress. Quite recently, people are launching for the reuse. The level of life as before, people are compelled to dress differently. The electro equipments, the question of we don't throw, we have also the construction materials for the earthquake in Morocco. A decision was made to reuse all of the debris. So the debris are not left aside. They will be reused for the reconstruction. And the processing and valorization, selection and valorization of waste. Many foreign companies would like to be interested in these activities without paying any franc, any money. It's an activity that generates revenue to fund the selection of waste and the processing of waste. The valorization of plastic, it is very important. Last week, we organized a forum, an Arab forum for the entrepreneurship and the support of SMEs. Sincerely, when we give to youth the opportunity to innovate, we are surprised. Among the projects that were presented, a youth simply through the processing of plastics, all colors. He built the plastic. For the for the soils, for the roof, and for the selling, the processing of wastewater for irrigation. Most of the Gulf fields are watered with wastewater,
les énergies renouvelables
in Morocco. And the use of water, the renewable energies, we have many potentials, be it the solar, the wind, the geothermic, and the energy efficiency. There are many reduction of consumption and a reduction of the
niches. La
to
liste,
be
comme je l'ai dit,
operated.
n'est pas
These are certain number
exhaustive.
of
Quel est le rôle d'un
species.
SPE dans tout ça?
The list is not exhaustive. What is the
que
role
l'emploi
of
est une affaire
public services in all this?
par
I would like to
excellence.
start to say
Ça
that
serait
employment
hypocrite ou se tromper
is a cross-cutting by excellence. We should bear in mind that a PS can't work alone. I am happy that we have representative of a certain number of ministries that are present here in the room with us. And to promote employment requires 4 pillars. The first one is the public policies, socio-economic. We can't do without it. We need to have incitative measures because there are some sectors in the green economy that are not profitable immediately. We have to put in place incitative measures regarding subvention and fiscality. Secondly, the training. This requires training too. I can tell you that for the case of Morocco, we practically 250,000 students, 250,000 people who are at the professional training that follow trainings related to green economy. And it is at all levels, from engineers, technician, and qualified manpower. It's an employment job. So all these can't be learned for one day. For agriculture, people can inherit from their parents, but we really need training. The social protection, we have to put in place measures for social protection to insure people. And the second package is the incitative measures for employment. We have to encourage companies to recruit, and also for Africa to put in place incitative measures for the entrepreneurship. The youth are ready to do the entrepreneurship. We have to incite them. Our role is to support the entrepreneurship and the intermediation for the job market. This is our role. It's the core, our core mission. The last one is the work legislation. There are many forms of employment that is and jobs that is developing. It's not like before, and we have the distance work and the partial work and the entrepreneurs, and soon we won't be able to make the difference, and they are developing and imposing and on us. It's the ecosystem. The ministers of economy and employment have to take into consideration those aspects. There is also the legal forms of the SMEs and the small enterprises. We need to have legal measures to incite them too, that are not constraining. For all these, what we have to ensure as public services, we have 4 big missions. First of all, a mission of control. We have to control on the insertion regarding the green economy. Secondly, we have to inform the job seekers regarding the opportunities. Thirdly, orient and for the training, put in place a partnership for the initial training, and also launch action for qualifying training. And lastly, support youth to create companies to be inserted. And I will end by something that is required. It's the necessity to build ecosystems. We cannot work alone as public services. We need at least 4 types of actors: the public service of employment, the training tools, the employers, and the decision makers. If you would like the entrepreneurs succeed for the green economy, you have to find the market for them, markets of big fine hotels that are ready to purchase bio or materials, recycled materials, or recycled articles. But they can't do it alone. You have to support them and develop the online trade, and also identify opportunities for exporting. Simply, you have to process this green economy based upon a sector. For each sector, you have to build all the parts of the puzzles, supporting incitation, decision makers, the exports. What I propose for each country, we try to see where we can be champion, and then we are champion somewhere, be it the bio or the recycling or something else, and work on this sector with the stakeholders before launching it. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Je pense que
thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I think that it is a good beginning of this conference. I have seen that everybody took his pen and noted, because they are good ideas. They are ideas that can not only allow this conference to succeed, they are ideas for post-conference. So I think that all what you have said here, we can summarize it with few sentences. The public services must adapt, not only adapt, but not only adapt itself, but has to innovate in order to adapt and also to progress. So it's based upon this we are expected, because the opportunities, the job opportunities, and Mr. Chairman has listed he said that the list is not exhaustive. This conference will help us to discover other job opportunities that will enrich our reflection and our future actions, so that the public services of employment be able to offer the maximum, to generate the maximum of jobs for our beneficiaries. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So on this note, I would like to ask Mr. Cherry Oates, consultant, senior consultant of the African region at the Executive Secretariat of AMCEP, to deliver his speech. Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the Master of Ceremony, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman of AMCEP, Mr. Chairman of ASEP, happy to see you here. Mr. Director General of AGUIPE, representative of ministries, managing directors and their representative, those who could not come here, they honored us to send a representative, those who represent the teams that work with our countries to work on this topic related to employment, which is cross-cutting. I'm going to talk about on behalf of our Executive Secretariat, who could not who apologized, who could not travel to join us. I had her this morning on the phone, and I also talked to my colleagues. I would like to have the first word that is behalf to all the team that is gathered at the Executive Secretariat in Brussels. my colleagues, Pierre Allen, who was with us this morning. We would like to forward a message to the Guinean, to the people of Guinea, to the authorities, a message of pain, of compassion. We are beside the Guinean population. We think of the people that are impacted by this unfortunate event, by the tragedy. So it's true that we prepared a video, a short speech of our executive secretariat. We will see if the technical side will allow us to see that video. Our first words it was the highest authorities of Guinea that allowed to host this conference in the African continent. And I thank also the managing director of AGUIPE and all the teams that are highly mobilized for months to make these events a success despite the unfortunate events. Our commitments will show that the public services of employment, they are resilient. This is what I return today. There is an unfortunate, there is a tragedy, but we are here, we are mobilized. This is a message that the executive secretariat told me to forward to you, forward to you this morning. Now, I would like to come back to the topic. Many things have been said. I'm going to be short and bring something in order to complete the information so that we're given. The choice was made because the topic on which we are working is a topic that is cross-cutting too. The last meeting of G7, the conference of ministers of employment of G7 decided to entrust to ANSEP a work to see concretely as a public service what we can do for the three big challenges. The first one was listed, it is our topic here, it's the climate transformation and how we're going to adapt our economy, to adapt our job market to this. And the second one is the demography with particularities in each continent, with the North continent where there is people becoming old and old, and the transformation of the demographic transformations and the phenomenon of urbanization. This has an impact on the job market. The third one was listed by our president is the digitalization of the economy with all the tools that can be an opportunity but presents some risk if they are not well supported. So the ministers of G7 asked us to think progressively, to work together to see how the public services of employment can mobilize to support this transformation. I think that we were very delighted that the topic that was proposed by ANSEP for this conference in Africa be the topic of the transformation of climate. And the way, because the way that our climate transforms, we have it impacts our economy and they impacts our job markets and how we're going to public services we can support all this. So I'm not going to come back to it. The chairman precised it. And he has covered all. So the particularity of our event is it is unfolded as planned, as the mobilized teams for months has designed it, and they have made efforts. The idea is to open. We are used to have exchange between the public services, how we do in France. France, how we do in Morocco, in Swaziland, in the various countries, to have exchanges. So here, the particularity, the Master of Ceremony reminded us about it. We have a high contribution of the ministries. This means that we have also, I think that there will be here with us the representative of NGOs or the other structures that intervene in these climate issues. The Ministry of Environment told us that they will be present. The agriculture is transformed. All the sectors of activities are compelled to adapt to the change. And so it was important to listen to them. We have a vision, and as a public services, our professionals for the employment, in order to really work as anticipation, and to anticipate, we are open, as our chairman reminded it. We can't do it alone. So I'm talking about the organizing team. We are happy that to see that this conference was held at a time where we have some contributions of various peoples and a diversity in order to be able to produce and to also to explore the future and how to transform and how to react. The question of action is very important. It will be a goal. It's our goal for this conference is to come out with concrete ideas. So the topic is to work together and to listen to partners, people that have various visions, different visions, so that we work together. What we are doing, we exchange practices on our experiences, and through it we go back, we go through the recommendations that was produced in Jamena, and thirdly we going to talk on what type of partnership to have. So we're going to organize ourselves to go to, on behalf of the Executive Secretariat, I thank you all for coming to this conference. So we wish every one of us, so we convert this time in order to do something that will bear fruits, that will allow us to prepare for the big challenge that we have. So on behalf of the Executive Secretariat and all the team of the Secretariat, we thank you for the support that you have provided to us every day. This gives us more energy, and at the same time we wish to every one of us success to these works. So I thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cherry-Yot, a consultant, WAPES consultants. So ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this mini opening ceremony. With the permission of the chairman, we are going to suspend the works for 10 minutes and come back immediately to follow the presentation of AMSE's chairman on the Moroccan experience for the promotion of development and promotion of green jobs. Thank you all. The meeting is suspended with the permission of the chairman. Thank you.